What's going on, everybody? I'm Mike Cantaluo. A huge shout out to all the thousands of people who voted on our Twitter list poll. Over 4,000 of you guys chimed in and got your voices heard on what list video we should do next. And today, we're gonna do that video. If you didn't have a chance to vote in the first poll or you didn't know it even existed, that's fine. Just follow us on Twitter here so that you never have to miss a poll again and you can get your voice heard so that we can give you the content that you want. With March Madness right around the corner, this makes a ton of sense. Today, we're talking about the 10 best active NBA players who come from mid-major schools. Number 10 is Elfrid Payton, straight out of the best nickname in all of sports, the Ragin' Cajuns. He took Louisiana Lafayette, which is another way to say it, but it's less cool than Ragin' Cajuns. He took him to the NCAA tournament, and he actually won the National Defensive Player of the Year award in 2014, which is really tough to do from a small school like the Ragin' Cajuns. He was drafted actually with the 10th pick in 2014 by the 76ers, but he never played a game with the 76ers. He was almost immediately traded to the Magic. So far, has he been great? No, but he's been a great rotational player, and he's reliable for a career average of 10.5 points per game and 6.2 assists per game. He was only drafted in 2014, so he's super young and has a high ceiling and a decent amount of potential. He deserves to be on this list because he may be an up-and-coming talent, and he's showcased so far that he can handle the NBA. Number 9 is David West. David West pretty much put Xavier in the household name category of mid-major schools. He had an incredible career there. He actually won the National Player of the Year award his senior year. And when all was said and done, he was put on Sports Illustrated's Collegiate All-Decade team and was then drafted 18th by the Hornets in 2003. Yeah, now he's kind of a bench player, a rotational player with the Golden State Warriors. And it's the end of his career. He's had an incredible 14-year career, and when he was with the Hornets and when he was with the Pacers, he was really, really good. He has a career 14.3 average of points per game and 6.7 rebounds per game. So yeah, he's not producing right now, but he's still an active player, and he did a lot not only for his college, but for the NBA in general, so he definitely deserves to be on this list. Number 8 is Jeremy Lin. It was an incredibly interesting road for Jeremy Lin to get where he is now. We all know how he stunned the world for 3 weeks with the Knicks during Linsanity. And it was crazy, but way before Linsanity, Jeremy Lin was just a high school prospect that did not receive any college scholarship offers. So he took his talents to Harvard. Makes sense. And while he was at Harvard, he became a great player for the Ivy League school, and he also got his degree in economics. So it's a win-win. Of course, just like he was out of high school, he was overlooked going into the pros. He was undrafted and signed as a free agent with Golden State. Didn't really do anything for Golden State, didn't really do much of anything until the Linsanity period, but once Linsanity came around, he's been a pretty solid player. He's averaging 11.8 points per game in his career. He's averaging 13 points per game this season, and yeah, has he been as great as he once was with that 3-week period of Linsanity? No, but he's been a consistent player for Houston, the Lakers, Charlotte. He deserves to be on the list, not only for his consistent play, but how he got to where he is now. Number 7 is Kenneth FARIED. He started off at Morehead State, where he was averaging 13 rebounds per game in his sophomore and junior years. Because of this, he was named a second-team All-American and then was drafted 22nd in 2011. He has a career 12 points per game and 8.6 rebounds per game, and he's been a really consistent starter for the team that drafted him, the Nuggets. He was part of the 2011 All-Rookie team, and he's continuing to get better. Number 6 is Paul Millsap. He went to Louisiana Tech, and there he became the first player in NCAA history to lead the nation in rebounds for three consecutive years. But yet somehow he was still drafted 47th by the Utah Jazz. 46 people over Paul Millsap. I don't really understand it, because once he got into the league with the Jazz, he averaged 14.1 points per game and 7.5 rebounds. And then he signed with Atlanta and started doing even better in 2013. He's currently averaging 17.4 points per game, 8.3 rebounds per game in 4 seasons with Atlanta. And on top of that, he's been durable. He's started at least 73 games since coming to Atlanta. So not only is he a great player, but you know he's going to be on the court, and that should give him some points in this list. Number 5 is Gordon Hayward. We all know Gordon Hayward from the half-court shot that could have been for Butler. It was so close. It hit the backboard, and then it hit the rim, and then it didn't go in. But he guided Butler, a team that was in the Horizon League at the time, to a national championship game against Duke. He is one of the greatest collegiate players in recent memory, and sure, he didn't win that game, but he guided a mid-major team to the national championship. Sure, and yeah, Butler is now part of the Big East, but since it was the Horizon League, I'm counting this because it was. And he was drafted 9th overall by the Jazz in 2010, and he pretty much picked up where he left off after being drafted. He's averaging 15.4 points per game in his career, but this year, he's good. He's averaging 22.5 points per game. So I think Gordon Hayward's only going to get better throughout his career with the Jazz or wherever else it may lead him. But I think that whenever you think of Gordon Hayward, you're always going to think of Butler, and you're going to think about that game that almost was. Number 4 is Kawhi Leonard. He's one of the best players in the NBA and certainly a household name, but he had some pretty humble beginnings at San Diego State. He helped the Aztecs to a 34-3 record and a Sweet 16 run in his sophomore season. He was then drafted with the 15th pick by the Pacers, but was immediately traded to the Spurs on that same day. And now with the Spurs, he's phenomenal. Currently right now, he's averaging 25.8 points per game, I think. He's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year award, so you know he doesn't just score points, he actually stops people from getting points also, which is a rarity in today's NBA. On top of that, when the Spurs won the finals, he was the finals MVP, and he was also a member of the 2015-2016 All-NBA team, and I think he's just getting better. Number 3 is Paul George, straight out of Fresno State. He was great at Fresno State, but more than he was great, he was really entertaining. Entertaining enough to be named one of the most entertaining players to watch in college basketball by Sports Illustrated. I didn't know they did that list, but they did, and Paul George was on it. He was drafted 10th in 2010 and then moved from shooting guard to small forward in 2012, and that's when he really started taking off for the Pacers. He's now a 3-time member of the All-NBA team. He's a 4-time All-Star, 3-time All-Defensive team, and he's currently averaging 21.8 points per game and 6.1 rebounds. Who knows where Paul George is going to end up next year or the year after or the rest of his career, but he does have pretty humble beginnings at Fresno State. Number 2 is Damian Lillard, without a doubt one of the best players in the NBA right now. Started off his collegiate career at Weber State, where he was a 2-time Big Sky Conference Player of the Year and the leading scorer in Weber State Wildcat history. He was the 6th pick in the 2012 NBA draft, so he was highly touted even though he was coming from a small school like Weber State, but He was the Rookie of the Year in 2012, so he lived up to the expectations, and now he's a two-time member of the All-NBA team and is currently averaging 25.9 points per game and 5.8 assists per game. Number 1, Steph Curry. Was there any doubt? I mean, I didn't really have a choice. Steph Curry had to be on this list. Not only did he put Davidson on the map, but he was the most electrifying player in the entire NCAA. He was the NCAA's leading scorer his senior season, and then he was unanimously named a first-team All-American. He was then drafted 7th by the Warriors. Since then, he's won the 2015 NBA championship with Golden State. He's won 2 MVP awards, and he's been an All-Star 4 times. I wish that it could have been a more interesting number 1 pick, but it had to go to Steph. What other mid-major school NBA players were really good? Let me know in the comments below. We could talk about current players, we could talk about past players. I want to hear it all in the comments. If you're new to Total Pro Sports, please hit the subscribe button, because we put out videos like this and a whole bunch of other videos also every single day. Until next time, I'm Mike Cantaluo, and thanks so much for watching.